Terence Crawford touched down in Australia and wasted absolutely no time making headlines. Before the jet lag could even catch up to him, he sat down with local media and gave them exactly what they wanted: unfiltered opinions, bold statements, and a dose of his trademark confidence. When asked how he thinks a fight with Tim Tszyu would have played out, Crawford didn't hesitate. With that same cool, measured tone fans have come to know, he said he believed he would have come out on top. "I feel I would have beat him," he stated bluntly, not out of arrogance but out of a quiet confidence that comes from years of proving doubters wrong. He didn't overhype himself or put Tim down. He simply explained that boxing is unpredictable. Anything can happen. But if you're a fighter and don't believe in your own skills, you've already lost. And that, right there, is Crawford's mindset: sharp, focused, and unapologetically self-assured. But what really caught people off guard was Crawford's honest admission that he hadn't initially realized Tim Tszyu was the son of the legendary Kostya Tszyu. For a guy so deeply rooted in the sport, that revelation surprised many. "It just went over my head," Crawford explained. He pointed out that you never really saw Kostya in Tim's corner or involved in the spotlight, so the connection didn't jump out right away. But once Tim started making waves in the US and fans began drawing comparisons, the dots connected. Crawford's reaction wasn't dismissive, though. It was genuinely reflective. He showed respect for both father and son, recognizing that heritage in boxing is powerful, but it's not always immediately obvious. His comments painted a picture of a man who doesn't live in the past or chase hype, but rather focuses on what's right in front of him: each opponent, each challenge, each opportunity. And when it comes to Kostya Tszyu himself, Crawford had nothing but admiration. He recalled watching Kostya's fights, especially the one against Zab Judah, and acknowledged how much respect the elder Tszyu commanded in the boxing world. "He was a great puncher," Crawford said, nodding to the kind of power that left a mark on the sport. It wasn't just about wins or belts. It was about presence. Kostya had it, and Crawford recognized that. The two fighters even crossed paths recently at a boxing event in Dubai, where they shared a brief but memorable moment and took a photo together. For Crawford, who has spent years building his own legacy, these moments of recognition and mutual respect among fighters speak volumes. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes interaction that rarely makes headlines but carries enormous weight in the boxing community. It's fighters acknowledging each other, not as rivals, but as craftsmen of the same brutal, beautiful trade. But Crawford isn't lingering in nostalgia. His eyes are firmly set on the future, specifically on his upcoming mega fight against Canelo Alvarez, set for September in Las Vegas. And he's not being modest about it either. Crawford believes this bout has the potential to be absolutely massive, possibly even eclipsing the historic Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight in terms of fan interest and pay-per-view numbers. That's a bold claim, but Crawford delivered it with a wink and a smile, suggesting the only real threat to those numbers is how many people will try to pirate the event. That kind of off-the-cuff humor shows a different side of Crawford, a fighter who's serious about the sport, but doesn't take himself too seriously. Still, beneath the jokes is a very real and historic opportunity. If Crawford defeats Canelo, he will become the first male fighter in boxing's four-belt era to become undisputed in 3 different weight divisions. That isn't just another stat. It's a seismic moment that could redefine his place in the sport forever. Some believe that victory would elevate Crawford above even the all-time greats. Oscar de la Hoya has gone so far as to say a win over Canelo might place Crawford above legends like Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson. Crawford, for his part, didn't let the praise go to his head. He admitted it felt good to hear, especially after all the years he's dedicated to boxing, the training, the sacrifices, the moments of doubt, but he remained grounded. "To get my dues would be a beautiful thing," he said with quiet humility. And when asked directly who he considers the greatest of all time, Crawford didn't pause. It was Muhammad Ali. Not just because of what he accomplished inside the ring, but because of what he stood for outside of it. Crawford spoke with real reverence about Ali's stance on civil rights, his refusal to be drafted into a war he didn't believe in, and the consequences he willingly accepted for taking a stand. To Crawford, greatness is about more than titles. It's about character, conviction, and courage. Throughout his Australian tour, Crawford has remained unfazed by the long flights and media commitments. Starting off in Queensland and moving through major cities like Melbourne and Sydney, he's taken every appearance in stride. When asked about jet lag or the whirlwind schedule, he simply shrugged it off. "I'm good," he said, "ready for whatever people throw in front of me." And you believe him, because Crawford's presence speaks volumes even when he's not saying much. His timing in Australia is no coincidence. With top Aussie fighters like Jai Opetaia, George Kambosos Jr., Liam Parrow, and of course Tim Tszyu all preparing for big matchups over the next few months, Crawford's arrival is more than a goodwill tour. It's a statement. He's watching, he's taking notes, and most importantly, he's reminding the entire boxing world that he's still the man to beat. Whether it's super welterweight, or beyond, Crawford isn't here to fade into the background. He's here to solidify a legacy. One country, one fight, one statement at a time. Crawford's trip to Australia isn't just about self-promotion. It's about immersion. He's taking time to understand the boxing scene down under, mingling with local fighters, engaging with the media, and feeling the pulse of a country that's rapidly becoming a global boxing hotspot. Australia has produced some hungry, talented fighters over the past few years, and Crawford knows it. He's not just scouting opponents, he's showing respect. By being present, shaking hands, and acknowledging the rise of fighters like Opetaia and Tszyu, Crawford is reinforcing his role not just as a competitor, but as an ambassador for the sport. And that matters, especially in a time when boxing often feels divided across promotional lines and national borders. Crawford's presence brings gravity. When he walks into a room, the temperature changes. Everyone knows the level he operates on, and he doesn't need to shout it. He lets his resume and aura speak for themselves. Despite his calm demeanor, there's a clear fire burning inside Crawford. He's not in Australia just to play tourist. He's fully aware of the narratives being built around fighters like Tim Tszyu, many of whom are inching closer to global stardom. Crawford's message is subtle, but powerful. He sees you, he respects you, but he's not impressed enough to back down. This is what makes Crawford such a dangerous force in the sport. He studies his peers without being threatened by them. He's not watching from the sidelines as a retired legend. He's still active, still chasing legacy-defining moments, and he's daring anyone in any division to step forward and test his claim to greatness. This isn't just about Tim Tszyu or Canelo Alvarez. This is about proving, once and for all, that Terence Crawford isn't just a pound-for-pound king, but a once-in-a-generation force. What makes Crawford's legacy pursuit so compelling is how low-key he keeps it. He doesn't constantly bang the drum about being the best. He just operates like someone who knows it. Even in interviews, his confidence never tips over into arrogance. There's a quiet intensity in the way he talks about his career, almost. Like he's still that kid from Omaha with something to prove. That humility, combined with elite skill, is what separates him. He doesn't need to trash talk or manufacture drama. His record, his performances, and his willingness to fight anyone, anywhere, speak volumes. And even now, with titles and accolades under his belt, he's still chasing new mountains. That kind of mindset is rare, especially in a sport where many top fighters are content to rest on past glory. The Canelo fight, of course, is the centerpiece of everything Crawford is doing right now. It's not just another payday or another name on the resume. It's a chance to etch his name into boxing history in a way that's nearly unprecedented. Beating Canelo, especially if the event reaches the level of Mayweather-Pacquiao, would cement Crawford's name alongside the greats forever. He knows what's at stake, and he's preparing accordingly. The buzz is already building, and by the time September rolls around, the spotlight will be blinding. But Crawford seems unfazed by the pressure. In fact, he thrives under it. It's almost as if the higher the stakes, the more composed he becomes. That's what separates a champion from a legend, being able to deliver when the world is watching. As his tour through Australia continues, one thing is becoming abundantly clear. Terence Crawford isn't winding down. He's gearing up, whether it's through conversations about legacy, lighthearted jabs at piracy, or respectful nods to other great fighters. Crawford is showing the world that his journey is far from over. He's not just thinking about his next fight. He's thinking about how he'll be remembered. In a sport where moments come and go, Crawford is chasing something permanent. And if you listen closely to the way he speaks, the way he carries himself, you get the sense that he's not just fighting to win, he's fighting to leave a mark that can't be erased.